Most people rush through Barcelona in 3 days, ticking off Gaudí landmarks like a checklist. But there's another Barcelona that reveals itself only when you slow down. A city where the sea breeze carries the scent of salt and coffee, where narrow streets hold century-old tilework, and where locals still gather in plazas at dusk. This isn't about skipping the famous sights. It's about finding the pauses between them. The moments when you're not performing tourism, but simply present. Today, we're walking through Barcelona at a gentler pace, discovering what emerges when you stop rushing. Let's begin where the city meets the water. Barceloneta Beach at sunrise feels like a secret, even though it's not. The sand is cool underfoot, the water still and glassy. A few locals do Tai Chi near the shoreline. Fishermen check their lines at the old port. This is the moment before the beach clubs set up, before the crowds arrive. You can walk the promenade with only the sound of small waves and distant seagulls. If you come around 7 or 8 in the morning, you'll find small cafes opening their shutters, serving cortados to early risers. No reservations needed, no pressure. Just a quiet table facing the sea. It's worth setting an alarm for, just once. And when you're ready, the old city awaits a short walk inland. The Gothic quarter isn't actually all Gothic, but that hardly matters when you're wandering its shaded lanes. Carrer del Bisbe, Plaça Sant Felip Neri, the small courtyards tucked behind iron gates. These streets were built for walking slowly, for looking up. You'll find ceramic tiles pressed into walls, tiny balconies overflowing with geraniums, doorways that lead to unexpected patios. Don't follow a map too strictly here. The best moments come from gentle meandering. If you get lost, you're never more than 10 minutes from Las Ramblas, though you might not want to return. Mid-morning is peaceful, before tour groups gather at the cathedral. Bring comfortable shoes and a curious gaze. Now let's talk about where locals actually go for lunch. Gracia feels like a village that got absorbed by the city but never quite surrendered its character. Plaça del Sol, Plaça de la Virreina. These squares are where Barcelona locals actually spend their afternoons. Small restaurants serve menú del día, a set lunch menu that's typically 10 to 15 euros for 3 courses and a drink. You won't find menus in 5 languages here. The pace is unhurried. You might wait a while for your food, but that's the point. Order the daily special, accept the house wine, watch people greet each other like old friends. After lunch, the neighborhood invites slow exploration. Vintage shops, small galleries, streets named after rivers and wines. It's a neighborhood that rewards staying a while. And when you're ready for something iconic, there's a park waiting uphill. Yes, Park Güell is famous. And yes, the main terrace gets crowded. But if you enter early, the park opens at 8, or visit the free areas outside the monumental zone, you'll find something softer. The serpentine bench still curves gracefully, even when you're sharing it. The view over the city is vast and calming. And beyond the ticket area, there are woodland paths, stone viaducts, and quiet viewpoints where few people venture. Gaudí designed this as a garden city, a place for contemplation. That intention still lives in the peripheral spaces. Bring water, wear sun protection, and give yourself time to simply sit. The Trencadís mosaics catch the light differently as the day shifts. When you descend, the city's grid unfolds below, geometric and surprisingly ordered. Exempla, the city's expansion district, was designed with sunlight in mind. The blocks are chamfered at corners, creating small plazas and allowing light to flood the streets. Walking here feels spacious and calm, especially compared to the Gothic quarter's narrow intensity. Passeig de Gràcia holds the famous modernist buildings, Casa Batlló, La Pedrera, but also elegant shops, shaded benches, and a surprisingly peaceful rhythm. Visit the interiors if you wish, but don't overlook the exteriors at different times of day. Late afternoon light turns the stone facades golden. Early evening brings a soft blue hour. The grid layout makes it nearly impossible to get lost, which is oddly freeing. You can wander without worry. And there's a particular street market worth finding next. Markets in Barcelona are sensory, but not overwhelming if you visit mid-morning on a weekday. Sant Antoni, recently restored, has beautiful iron architecture and a calm local feel. Stalls sell seasonal fruit, fresh fish, cheeses, cured meats. There's no pressure to buy, but a small snack, maybe some jamón or a piece of tortilla, makes for a lovely pause. Sundays bring a book and vintage market outside, where locals browse second-hand records and old postcards. It's a social space as much as a shopping one. People stop to chat, vendors offer samples, the light filters through the roof in soft beams. Even if you're not cooking, it's worth walking through. Markets tell you what a city values, and just beyond, there's a hill that offers the best panorama you've never heard of. Montjuic is less a single site and more a series of gardens, viewpoints, and quiet museums. You can take the cable car, but walking up through the Jardin de l'Aribal or Jardin de Mossèn Costa y Llobera offers a slower revelation. Cacti gardens, rose terraces, shaded pathways with ceramic benches. The city unfolds below as you climb. At the top, the castle has views, but so do a dozen unnamed spots along the way. Bring a book, find a bench, stay as long as you like. On summer evenings, there's sometimes open-air cinema at the castle. Check schedules if that appeals. Otherwise, just enjoy the green silence and the sea beyond. Eventually, you'll want to return to the city's artistic heart. Raval has a reputation, and reputations are complicated. Yes, it's grittier than Gracia. Yes, you should stay aware at night. But during the day, it's one of the most interesting neighborhoods. Multicultural, creative, unpretentious. Small galleries, vintage shops, cafes with mismatched furniture. Carrer de la Riera Baixa is lined with second-hand clothing stores. MACBA, the Contemporary Art Museum, anchors the northern edge, and its plaza fills with skaters and students. If you visit, keep your belongings close, but don't avoid it out of fear. It's where the city feels less curated, more lived in. Grab a coffee at a corner bar, sit outside, watch the neighborhood move. And when you're ready, there's one more iconic site we haven't yet mentioned. You've seen photos, but nothing quite prepares you for the scale and detail of Sagrada Familia. If you book tickets, go in the late afternoon when the western light filters through the stained glass. It's transcendent. But even from outside, at dusk, the building has a presence. The spires catch the last sunlight while the sky deepens to violet. Gaudí worked on this for over 40 years, and it's still unfinished. That incompleteness feels appropriate somehow, a reminder that some beauty is perpetual becoming. You don't need to be religious to feel moved here, just open. Afterward, the area around the basilica is quieter than you'd expect. Small parks, local eateries, streets where the crowd dissolves quickly. Take your time leaving. Elborn has energy, but it's not frantic. After dark, the narrow streets fill with people moving between tapas bars and small restaurants. Passeig d'Elborn, the central promenade, becomes a gathering place. Locals sit on benches, street musicians play softly. The pace is social, but not rushed. If you want dinner, look for places where the menu isn't translated into 6 languages. You might struggle slightly with ordering, but the food will be better. Patatas bravas, pan con tomate, grilled seafood. Share plates, eat slowly, order wine by the glass. There's no closing time pressure here. Meals stretch, conversations unfold, and when you're full, a walk along the waterfront completes the evening. The old port, Port Vell, transforms at night. The wooden Rambla de Mar walkway sways gently underfoot. Yachts rock in their slips, their masts clinking softly. The water reflects streetlights in long, wavering lines. It's touristy, yes. There's a mall, chain restaurants, but if you walk to the edges, past the main commercial zone, you find quieter piers. Couples sit on benches, fishermen cast lines. The Mediterranean stretches out, dark and infinite. Barcelona is a port city, and the sea is always present, even when you're blocks inland. Standing here at night reminds you of that. The breeze carries salt and distance. It's a good place to pause before heading back to your accommodation. What you remember about Barcelona might not be the famous buildings, though they're undeniably beautiful. It might be the way light slanted through a Gothic archway, the taste of a cortado at a corner bar, the sound of Catalan conversations blending with Spanish in a market. Travel isn't just about seeing, it's about noticing. And noticing requires time, silence, presence. Barcelona rewards slowness. It's a city built for walking, for lingering, for returning. You don't have to see everything. You just have to see something fully. And when you do, the city stays with you differently. Not as a list, but as a feeling, a rhythm you carry home. If this slower pace through Barcelona felt calming to you, you might enjoy exploring more cities this way. We have a playlist called Calm Travel Guides, where we walk through destinations without the rush, finding quiet corners, local rhythms, and moments worth savoring. Each city has its own gentle story. Sometimes the best travel isn't about how much you see, but how deeply you see it. Thank you for walking through Barcelona with us today. Until the next journey, may your travels be slow, your curiosity gentle, and your memories vivid. Safe travels.